So, good morning, everybody. I see we're still arriving, and that's great, but we're going to start because we are on a time schedule today, so we want to keep to that. Just welcoming the frequencies of Elyseos and the metaverse and the Mama Gaia who is hosting us all, even through our bodies, even through the bodies of our computers and our phones, and through the breath that we're breathing and the thoughts that are moving through our consciousness together with the stars, welcoming us all here today on the day of the sun, Sunday, and calling together a really wonderful container and space therein for clear and bright and good and right communications to take us inside with beautiful momentum into the next part, the next month or month of our adventure as a DAO, and exploring what that means, and the birthing and birthing and birthing some more of the beautiful story of Elyseos. Thank you very much for coming, everyone who's here. Yeah. Maestro Big Nose, would you like to start by presenting some reporting and
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yes. So we are now. I thought we were officially live for 3 months now, but because there was quite a big run up. But we've only been. This is only our second month officially since we've been live. So we're in month 2, and yeah, there's been quite a lot of shift. I think one of the biggest shifts, which I'd like to talk about, is our parent chain. You know, we're on the Phantom block lattice. It's not really a chain because it's a DAG, which is different to a chain. It does things in parallel, so it's more like a lattice than a chain. But anyway, the ledger, the layer 1 that we built on top of is Phantom. And the last month has seen quite a radical explosion in the Phantom ecosystem. It's the price it's kind of skyrocketed all the way up to $3.50 during the Phantom Developer Conference, which ended on Halloween. Now it's dropped back down to just under $3. But this is a move up from about 30 cents a few months back. So it's gone from position 150 to about position 30 in the market cap table. So it's just been on this radical explosion, and just this real recognition of Phantom as a very serious player in the layer 1 space. One of the things we did is, like, when we were just starting out, I contacted somebody very experienced in blockchain, a big investor. And I was just chatting to him about our project, and he's like, "Why are you doing it on Phantom?" He said, "You've got to do it on Ethereum or even Solana or one of the big, the big chains, because that's where the capital is." And he said, "If you want capital, you're not going to be very well off with Phantom, because there's not much capital there." And I said, "Well, we're choosing Phantom for the technology. It's really fast. It's super scalable. It's properly decentralized. It's still got a few steps to go in decentralization, but it is genuinely permissionless and decentralized." And so I said, we've picked it because of its attributes, and hopefully the value and the capital will catch up. And we don't really need a huge amount of capital yet, because we're just getting going. So hopefully by the time we need the capital, it'll be there. And it's definitely there. It's arrived. And I think that I think it's not done yet. I think Phantom will take its place definitely in the top 20 by the end of the year, maybe even in the top 10. I think it is a top 10 project in crypto. Just everything that it's got going for it, and the immense energy in the ecosystem, the number of projects being launched. The DeFi genius, Andre Cronje, is very involved with Phantom. He's bringing a lot of his projects over, building games, all sorts of things which are enabled by the speed and the very fast time to finality of Phantom. Having said that, what we have noticed is Phantom's got a lot busier. And so gas prices have gone up tenfold. It's still very affordable. It's still, under $0.01. Sometimes I pay gas, as a few cents, which was quite shocking on Phantom. But it's nothing near the prices of Ethereum or AVAX or some of the other Matic, some of the other more expensive chains. Actually, Matic's really cheap also. Sorry about that. But yeah, it definitely has got a lot busier, and that's something that we've noticed where the code isn't necessarily optimized. Now where Phantom's getting busier, it's actually meant certain issues and delays in the front end, talking to the contracts. So that's something we never experienced with Phantom before, and we're starting to experience. But it's a really good team, so I'm pretty confident that they're going to sort that out and fix that up. That being said, of all the greatness of Phantom, we're having a little bit of a struggle connecting with the ecosystem. I think it's because Elyseos is something so different. We're not another farm. We're not another lending protocol. We're not another pure financial play in this space. So we've come in with a very real world sort of project, which is going to require feet in the soil, which is going to take payments. I mean, how old fashioned a currency for payments, So there are a lot of things that has meant that we don't fit the mold. Our spiritual languaging, our purpose, our higher intentions and our higher purpose are a little bit dissonant for all the let's go to the moon and make crazy gains, sort of crypto DeFi madness. And so we don't totally fit in there. So although we are communicating with a lot of people and a lot of the big movers and shakers in Phantom, in the Phantom ecosystem, they don't really know what to do with us or where to put us. So at the moment, they're just kind of going like, well, you guys keep building, and maybe at some point we'll engage with you more, but right now we don't really know what to do with you. And that's okay. We're just sort of staying in touch with them, and we're building organically and building our own community. Eventually, we're not really, we are a crypto project, but we're not so much about playing in the crypto space. We're trying to bring the permissionless, uncensorable nature of cryptocurrency to people in this world of sacramental medicines, of the sacred. Because of course, the people who are involved with sacred practice also want to not be censored, and also want to have permissionless platforms, and also want to be free, really. And that's a big, powerful piece of cryptocurrencies, that enables this freedom. And so that's really, part of the Elyseos intention, is to enable the freedom in commerce and value exchange that is available in the cryptosphere, to make that available to people in the sacred medicine sphere. So we're kind of just having to engage with the ecosystem where we need to, but otherwise we're building our own network. And it's slow going, because we're having to do a lot of education in the sacred medicine space. A lot of people are cautious of technology, skeptical about technology. So we're busy onboarding the first few vendors. So that's like the next part of the reporting, is where we're at in terms of our vision. So we're really starting with the marketplace, and creating tools for the marketplace for vendors to come on board. And I've been personally onboarding the vendors, and it's been an interesting process. It's taken like a couple of months to, get to talk to the first few vendors and show them everything, and get them to get MetaMask and get into the ecosystem and get their first Elyseos, and start to demonstrate the tools that we've built on WordPress so that they can sell. And they're really excited about it. but it's a learning curve. And so in everything else that they're doing, they're like, okay, now I've got to get into this new thing. And I really want to be involved and I want to sell in cryptocurrency, but making time and sitting down with them and just taking them through that learning curve. So it is happening. We have made some good progress, but there's still a bit of a ways to go. The first couple of vendors, they're now busy talking to their website guys about integrating our plugin. So that's the other piece. We have built a WooCommerce plugin for WordPress. So anybody with a WordPress shop can now accept Elyse, accept payment in Elyse, and that payment can be denominated in dollars. So they can say, you know, this thing which I've made costs $50, and on checkout it will automatically do the dollar to Elyse conversion, and then check them out. I won't show you that today, although it is ready and working. I could actually, in fact, maybe I'll demo both. I'll demo the WordPress plugin, and then we've got a pay in Elyse button, which I can also demo. Mary, are there some other pieces now, or am I still giving updates? Shall I save the demo for later? We've got some other reporting to do, and then I'll do the demo later. Does that make sense?
No, I think that it would be good for you to go with the demo now. The other
Okay.
pieces we'd like to chat about is just some feedback after the marketplace day and the NFT stuff, and then announcing Aloha Bokaye. So they're all
Okay.
quite different.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to move into demo then. Okay. Actually, just a little bit before I demo the tools, what some people haven't seen yet is the forest. And so I'll just talk a little bit about the forest and what we're doing here. So this is, there's the Elyseos homepage, which is elyseos.com, which is talking about the whole ecosystem. Elyse.money is specifically talking about the Elyse token. And this is the token and what we do with the token and how we're using it and what happens with the token in the ecosystem. So if you go to Elyse.money, it shows the price of our token in dollars and in Phantom over here. And then unlocking tokens is for those who have tokens locked up. This is a link to swap your tokens. If you want to swap Elyse to Phantom, is the only pair that's available at the moment. And then here's the forest. So I'll just click there. And you can see up here, here's the statistics. There are 14 locks. There's almost 300,000 Elyse are locked up. And this is just, this is something you can do with your Elyse while waiting for the vendors to appear and all the other exciting things that are going to happen. What you can do so long as you can get a return on your Elyse. So if I come to lock up, say 10,000 Elyse, right? Then it's currently set at 6 months. So if I locked it up for 6 months, I would get 552 Elyse as a reward. If I locked it up for a year, so the APR changes a little bit. As you lock it up for longer, you get a higher APR. I think it starts at 4% and it goes up to 26% for 3 years. So if I locked up 10,000 Elyse for a year, I'd get a 20% APR. And then you donate some of your rewards to our prevention of deforestation. So we're busy setting up a fund for that. We haven't found a partner for that yet. But so you could say, okay, I want to give 5% of my rewards. So not of your total, but 5% of this 2%. So I would end up giving 5% of the 2,000 Elyse to the deforestation fund. Excuse me 1 second. I have a bit of hay fever. So this is a way you can earn additional Elyse by locking up your Elyse. And later on, these locks are going to be required because when you want to do responsible things in the ecosystem, like if you want to be somebody who's verifying trading escrows or something like that, then in order to do that, you will have to lock up some Eliz, because it's basically, we want people who have responsible positions in the community to have a stake in the success of the community. So we're going to encourage them to lock up their Eliz, and reward them for doing so. But then once you've got locked up Eliz, your interests are aligned with the projects. So then we can allow you to have more responsible roles. So that's the forest. And you can go there and lock up some of your Eliz. Okay, so let me take you to the demo. So this is the Eliz.money page, but this is a demo version, a development version of the page. So you'd notice on the other page, we didn't have plugins and tools yet. So if you click on plugins and tools, this is where you'll get access to our WordPress plugin, and you'll be able to download it. That's now fully approved by WordPress. It's in the WordPress plugin store. So if you go even in your WordPress backend and you go to plugins and you search for Pay with Eliz, it'll give you the Pay with Eliz button, and you can use the plugin from there. I'll actually just demo that one quickly before I come back here. So our lovely friends at iboga.org have agreed to host a demo for us. So if you go to iboga.org, there we go, and click on Buy Iboga. And here you've got a donation to iboga.org, the wonderful drawing of Dr. Iboga. Okay, and there's a $1 donation there. So this is what I'm suggesting to the people who are setting this up on WordPress. Start with a $1 test. So you add it to your cart. Oh, I've got 2 in there. So I'll just go down to 1. And then, sorry, your beautiful face is on the way. Go to checkout. And I choose Pay with Eliz here on the right. Okay, hopefully that'll work. Okay, and here's a button, Pay with Eliz from MetaMask. So I don't know if you're seeing my MetaMask has now popped up. I don't know if you're able to see it. I don't know if you're able to see pop-ups with the screen share.
It came for a very brief moment and then went away, so your MetaMask is private to us.
Oh, okay. So it's actually popped up here, and it's showing 16.78 Eliz, which is $1. And it's got a gas fee here, and I'm just going to click on confirm. So sorry about that. That's a bit of the screen sharing. I can actually, what I can do is I can show you so I'm just going to show you the payment that went through. Just look for the address which it's being paid into. I'm just going to copy that. Okay. See here on Phantom Scan. I can put in the address from the iboga.org website. And if I click here, ERC20 token transactions, you'll see 1 minute ago, there was a transaction for 16.78516 Eliz. That was the $1 transaction. So it's now into that wallet. It was paid. Now the point I want to make about this payment is it was paid in Eliz, which is a currency that didn't exist 2 months ago. It didn't go through any banks. It didn't go through any credit card companies. There was no, nobody knew about it. Nobody was asked about it. An exchange in value in Eliz has just happened. $1 was transferred from me to the owner of iboga.org. A donation was made of 16.785 Eliz. So, and that plugin took a few minutes to set up. Okay, so that's one example. I'm going to show you the other one now, which doesn't actually require WordPress. This can be done on any website. And this is the Pay with a List website button. So this tool, you come here and you can choose a white button, an orange button, or a brown button. I think we're going to go with the lovely brown button. And then you put in the name, your item. Okay, I'm going to sell my cat. And the ID is cat123. And I'm going to sell it in dollars. And I'm going to set the price at $1. And I'm going to put in a wallet address. I'm just going to use that address, which I had there, so we can go and check that again. So there's a wallet address. I'm going to leave some fulfillment instructions. So this is for the person who's bought it. Email me big nose at elyseos.com with your transaction ID once you have bought a cat. Okay. And then I click on Create button. And it creates a little snippet of website code here where there's a convenient copy to clipboard. So we can just copy that to the clipboard, that snippet of website code. And then we're going to place that code on a website. We're, again, using iboga.org. They've kindly let us use their website for it. So we're going to update. Yeah. Okay. Now here is the page to test the buy now button. Okay, the password is Elyseos. Okay. I've used the wrong instructions on the pasting. I need to not use that. I need to transform to, I need to actually create another code block here. Sorry, I've just got quite a small screen, and with the screen share, I've got your pictures over it. So I'm just having to move the pictures around a bit. Okay, back here. All right. No, to pull the pictures up. Apologies for the delay. I'm looking for something called shortcode. Oh, there it is. Okay, great. Okay, then I'm going to paste. And I'm going to update the page. Okay, now it should show the button. There we go. Sorry, the button's showing a little strangely. Logo slightly off here. I have to chat to the designer. But anyway, it should work. Okay, pay with Elyseos. It's 16.7 Elyseos, so it's converted that $1 that I just added in as the price of the cat, again, to 16.7, same as before. So we click on pay with Elyseos. And again, I don't know if you've seen it, but my MetaMask has popped up. And so this is again on a WordPress site, but this would work on any website. You could just paste that code in. And MetaMask has popped up a payment of 16.7 Elyseos, and I confirm. And it's busy processing that transaction. Let's just see where if it's gone through yet. Yeah, says it's gone through. I'm just going to refresh the Phantom Scan page. Here I see 20 transactions. And there we have it, 16.7. So it's got a slightly different. I think we're doing less decimal places for this one on the conversion from dollars than we are with the WordPress plugin. They're two completely different code bases. So this is 16.7 Elyseos for the $1 payment. It's quite nice. You can see that they're different. And then the transaction's gone through. Your transaction was successful. Click here to copy your transaction hash. There's the transaction hash, which I can copy. And again, you know, because it's on the blockchain. Oh, I didn't copy it properly. And then it says here, these are the details. Email me, bignose@elyseos.com with your transaction ID once you've bought the cat. So I can copy it. Here we go. And on the chain, it shows, here's the transaction ID. 2 minutes ago, it happened. And it was from, that was the address. And it went to that other address, which we just looked at. And it was 16.7 Elyseos. So yeah, that's kind of where we've got to on our development side. It's super exciting. Now anybody around the world can accept payments in Elyseos. If they have a website, they can either use the button. Obviously, the button is kind of like the PayPal Buy Now button. It doesn't let you have a shopping cart. But if you want a shopping cart, if you've got WordPress and WooCommerce, you can have a shopping cart, and you can use our button to accept a payment. And if you want to accept the payment in Elyseos, you can choose that. You can have a flat rate of 10 Elyseos or 100 Elyseos, or you can ask for payments in dollars and it'll do a dynamic conversion. And we've got those different color buttons. Yeah, so as you can see, we're still in development of that. There was a few little design tweaks needed there, but happy to show everything working. And probably this coming week, plugins and tools will be available. So yeah, I think that's about it on the token side,
We've got a
and our
question
development.
here, Mr. Big Nose. We've got a question here from Mark. He
Uh-huh.
says, if you don't copy it properly and close the page, can you find that ID somewhere else or just on that page?
It's just on that page. Although what you can do is if you look at all the transactions that you made. So if, for example, let me show you again. I'll go back. Okay.
If you type your address into Phantom Scan, you'll be able to find that transaction as well.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So if I click on this address here, so that's my address on Phantom Scan. And if we go to ERC20 token transactions, oh, okay, sorry, it's under all transactions. So here's that transaction over here, and there's the transaction hash. So so if I've closed the page by mistake and I've still got to email Big Nose with my transaction ID, I can just go back. It's the wonder of the blockchain. Everything's there. Haku, do you want to say anything more about these?
No, I'm good. I think you covered it pretty
Okay.
thoroughly.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, yeah, so I'll stop sharing. Yeah, so it's always possible. You know, every transaction you make is there as a record. So everything you've ever done with your wallet, it's not necessarily connected to you as a person, but everything you've ever done with your wallet will be recorded on the chain. So another thing we're looking at doing is setting up rebates, whereby if you've purchased something somewhere, you can go and get some Eliz back. Or what you could do is you could say, we can do all sorts of intelligent things. Like every time somebody buys a boga from aboga.org, automatically 10% of that is donated to planting iboga trees. And so that could run as the kind of rebate. So there, you know, there's an infinite, you know, decentralized finance is huge, but decentralized commerce hasn't even started being explored yet. In many ways, we're pioneering the field of decentralized commerce. You know, once there isn't a central body where the commercial transactions are going through, just like DeFi, where you've been able to do all this amazing stuff with value and savings and allocating value. So with commerce, payments to different people, automatic rebates when you've made a certain amount of purchases. So, you know, I could, for example, if I'm a vendor, so if I'm selling something, I can say, give everybody a rebate, or give everybody a rebate just once for this amount that they've bought, or give everybody a rebate for this amount that they've bought monthly, or only when somebody's bought over a certain amount with me do they get a rebate. So it could be like when you hit $1,000 worth of purchases, we're going to give you $200 back. And that's the kind of thing you can't do with current websites with discounts. You can't track things that granularly. But because we've got a distributed ledger there, we can do that. And not just with one company. It can be like, if you spent $1,000 at these 3 different companies, then we're going to give you a rebate of a certain amount. So there's all sorts of really interesting, exciting stuff that we can do around decentralized commerce, which, you know, the kind of buttons and the plugins are just the first stage of showing it. So we're going to get our first vendors on board. We're going to offer some rebates to incentivize the community to go shop with them. So if you shop with this vendor, you'll get like something between 30 and 50% back on your purchases. So that's going to incentivize people to shop and start transacting in Eliz. And you know, when you use a currency, it's a vote for what that currency stands for. So if you're using United States dollars, you're voting for the US government in a way, because they're the beneficiary of use of their currency. And so the thing with the Elyseos DAO is, you know, our principles are stated. 30% goes back to wisdom holders. It's a community of people interested and invested in the sacred and in promoting the sacred. So by using this currency associated with the sacred, we're generating mana, energy, value exchange. The people in the forest are getting wealth. The wisdom holders are getting more rewards. Every time the Eliz goes around the ecosystem, it gathers energy as a currency, as currencies are. It gathers this movement. So, this having our own currency, which we use in among people who have the same values as us, where we believe in these things, is very valuable. It's very important. So we're super excited that we're now at the point where we've got a usable currency, and you can change it back into Bitcoin. In a few clicks. It takes about 20 minutes to convert your Liz back into Bitcoin. It takes about 5 minutes to convert it into Phantom. Not even. It takes about a minute to convert it into Phantom. There's a few more steps for Bitcoin. But not everybody can sell Phantom in their country and get fiat money if they need fiat. But almost everywhere in the world can you sell Bitcoin and get fiat. So the fact that it just takes a few minutes to go from your Liz back into Bitcoin, and then you can go into fiat to do what you need to do to pay for things where you can't pay in crypto. Obviously, we're trying to get more and more places to use a Liz. We're working on the mobile wallet. We've been speaking to some developers around that. So there's lots more to report, but I think that's enough from me for now. Just this piece around the currency and where we're at. So thanks.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much, Big Nose. I think the thing that's just landed for me now is the rebates thing, which has been quite an interesting thing for me to chew on, because it's so unnormal to if I go spend some money somewhere, then I'm going to be given money back again. It's so unnormal. But part for me, one of the reasons why I'm so interested in this whole thing that we're doing, this adventure that we're engaging in together, is the exploration of the natural abundance of the universe. And it appears that this place where, just like you can plant seeds in the ground and grow your own food, here we planted some seeds at the seed sale, and we grew our own currency. And so we're able to interact as a member of the universe, as part of the universe, with the abundance that is natural to the universe, which is such a different experience to interacting with currency in any other way that I've had. So it's wonderful, super exciting. Thank you for sharing all of that.
The one thing just to say, every cryptocurrency gives away some of its currency to encourage use. It's normal. Bitcoin gave away huge amounts of Bitcoin in the beginning for people contributing processing power. It still gives away a lot to the miners. The people who secure the network are given currency in exchange for that. So the rebates, the people are being given back Eliz for going and setting up a wallet and buying Eliz and making a purchase in Eliz. And that's why they're getting a rebate in Eliz. So it's like every crypto does this. You give the users value because they're creating value. The miners create the value in Bitcoin by securing the Bitcoin network. Our users, the people who are buying with Eliz, of course, the vendors also get they get the big advantage because they're going to get more buyers because we're rebating. So they're going to sell a lot more. So the vendors and the buyers get an advantage, and we're rewarding them. It's not a payment. It's not giving them something back. We're rewarding them for helping to build the ecosystem. They're the early adopters.
So still, what really lands it for me, because in my mind still there's a bit of a, and I think for many people, especially many of the people that we'd really like to bring this wealth of wisdom and creative abundant flow of currency to, then there's still a bit of a separation in the mind between, you know, when it comes, anything comes to money, there's a bit of separation going on there. And the thing that's really landing for me for the first time properly today is with regards to the reward system, which in my mind, the only place I can really relate it is to like the star system at school, you know, where if you cleaned up enough times and you got stars, and then you might get a lollipop at the end of the week or something, you know, which I always kind of related to bribery as bribery.
Yes.
You know, but what I'm seeing now is it really is like the plants in the garden, like the nature of the universe is to, you know, if a plant is going to be dropping its leaves, then it's going to create more abundance for itself because it's creating mulch and it's creating an environment for all of the microbials to flourish and thrive and the mycelium to flourish and thrive. So everything feeds everything, and that is the nature of the universe, and it is the nature of manifest physical reality here on Earth. So it really, this is now landing for me in a new way, which I'm really appreciating because it is so, it feels so different to the nature of bribery, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Which is
I've
wonderful.
created a book in the chat. The book is called The Trance of Scarcity. And it basically says, you know, we do live in an infinitely abundant universe. Like a tiger doesn't feel like the need to store up food in a refrigerator or store up energy because the jungle is its energy. If it needs food, it's there. It goes and gets it. It goes hunting, which it enjoys and it loves. And it's the same with everything. You know, the natural world is in this infinite flow of abundance. And it's only, you know, we've entered this kind of trance of scarcity, as the book title suggests, where we think that we're not abundant and we think that there are limits and we think that we can't have everything that we need. But that book sort of shows us that actually there's no need to try and hold on to too much because we have everything we need. And I think that's this grand experiment that we're doing here with the Elyseos. And in fact, all of crypto does. You know, I a few years ago, actually one of the people who's going to be one of the early vendors is called the Fairy Godmother. And she's got Fairy Godmother International. And she teaches a lot of courses around prosperity and money flow and engaging with money. And she and I know each other from way back. And we were having a conversation many years ago. And she was like, what's your problem with money? Why do you keep on giving it all away and not earning enough? She's like, you know, you're really smart. You've got all the skills you need. What's going on with you? And I said, it's so boring. I find bankers and accountants and money people so boring. And it's these gray squares of paper and people are obsessed with it. And I said, it's just the most boring thing in the world. I said, if money was like these bejeweled butterflies, which flew around, and then if you did cool stuff, more of these scintillating bejeweled butterflies landed on you. I said, if money was like that, I'd totally be into it. And now, of course, with crypto and all these fun coins and tokens, and it's kind of coming true. It is like these bejeweled butterflies which kind of fly around and land on people who do interesting things. So I highly recommend the book. And yeah, I think there's a deep process we've got here of decolonizing and detoxifying ourselves from capitalism and capture and control by money, rather than having it be a fun means of exchange and store of value, where it's just kind of got all these other hooks into us. And I think there's no better way to reprogram that than to actually live it and do it and work through it. And that's a big part of this experiment.
Thank you so much for dropping that link in there and for this whole presentation you've given, Maestro Big Nose. Things just keep landing deeper and deeper, and it's fantastic.
So cool. Thank you.
Kundalini Mar, you are inspired to assist as part of the team member to build the community, the DAO. So even though you weren't here in the studio as such while we were doing the market day, I'd like to invite you to talk about the market day and the NFT stuff, to give a bit of a reporting about what went down and where we're at, and then maybe we can, unless there's any questions from anyone following Maestro Big Nose or anything to add. If anyone's got anything to add, or no? Would you like to go ahead and do that and just give a bit of a rundown, and then maybe we can open the floor a little bit to chat about possibilities and thoughts and ideas, if there are any arising in this group of us who are here gathered, about NFTs and market day things for the future.
Cool. Yep. I'm happy to share. Greetings, everyone. So with marketing of Elyseos and the Elyseos token, just kind of piggybacking on what Maestro Big Nose has said, we're building community organically and slowly. Well, the organic nature is slow. So we're really focused on marketing that is useful and connects community and helps build community and also educate community about the Elyseos token, about the Elyseos Foundation. It's a small step-by-step long-term journey. Yeah, so in order to connect community and enhance community and connect community, we ran a competition in September, an art competition, where we encouraged artists to submit art, or even just creators, not necessarily people who are specific artists in their professions, to submit a variety of any type of art, really. So it could be a photograph, digital art, paintings, music, poetry, and that happened on Discord. So we had over 50 submissions, and we left the competition open for a month rather. And yeah, we had some wonderful art pieces. I'll post the Discord link in the chat after my share. So if anybody's keen, whoever isn't on Discord, I encourage you to go onto Discord and go to the art competition channel and have a look at the beautiful art that was submitted. Otherwise, there is a blog coming up that shows the top 3 artists that won. So the art competition, people submitted the art, we shortlisted 30 artworks, and then the community voted for the art. And we based our top 3 decisions on the votes of the community. So the first prize was 11,000 Elyseos, second prize 8,000, and third prize 5,000 Elyseos. And then 11, if I'm not mistaken, people who submitted art received 1,000 Elyseos for participation. So the whole purpose of the art competition was to engage people to submit art, and then the art itself, the winning art, will be basically put into an NFT gallery, and an NFT is a non-fungible token. And perhaps Mary Monster can speak more to that in her share, what can happen further with NFTs and what that means for people who won. The art is also on our Instagram page and Twitter, so encouraging people who are in the group now and whoever watches this to engage with us and follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm on Facebook as Kundalini Mayor, and also in Discord. Yeah, and then with the art competition, the winners were announced at a virtual market day, which was held last week Sunday. And in this market day, there was a speaker on psychedelic medicine and plant medicine, sacramental medicine, and there were some updates, and there was musicians and dancing and puppets and all sorts of fun flowing activities and entertainment. And that was also a place for people for community to engage. And it was also a chance for people who do offer or have any services in sacramental medicines being actual plant medicines, any sort of herb concoctions, or services that are holistic massages. Well, we can't really offer massages online, but if you're in the same area, to connect with people who offer face-to-face sessions. But yeah, and then keeping you can see Maestro Big Nose put a laughing face there. We're still learning to do massages virtually. It's a work in progress, but it's more like services like tarot, or if you offer any sort of readings. I know Mary Monster offers biofield tuning. So yeah, that was a platform to share that. And if anyone in this group, yeah, massage with sound, exactly. Mary Monster's very good at that. Yeah, anyone in this group or anyone watching can also go, if you offer anything, share what you offer in the Discord group. There's a specific channel called Trade in Elyseos. So you can offer or share what you offer there. Check out if anybody offers anything there that you are interested in. And then the idea is to use the currency of Elyseos. So if you have Elyseos, to trade in Elyseos, so you don't have to have a professional website or any website to trade what you offer. You can go on there, see what's offered, and also share what you offer, and then take it from there. So we also do encourage informal trading in that way. And then yeah, I think that's all I have to share. I'll post all the links in the chat now if you want to get onto the Discord channel or follow us anywhere. That would be amazing. I think that's my share. If there's anything I missed out, Maestro, Big Nose, Mary Monster, let me know.
Thank you so much, Kundalini Mayor, for that. That was awesome. Yeah. Market Day was lots of fun. We had plenty of what they called little gremlins in the tech of the whole thing, and it was a fantastic experiment, and we had a lot of fun. It was lots of fun. Yeah, and it feels like there's a lot of potential for the future in that. And I want to segue a little bit. No, let me first go back to the NFTs. So where we're going to next with the NFTs that have been, or the artworks that have been submitted, is we're looking at code to put up our own NFT gallery that's for trading in Elyseos as well. Because as Kundalini Mayor said, the whole thing is for currency to flow. And the more the currency flows, the more the currency gains value. And grows, and it's like, water particles move past each other, they create charge. A waterfall or waves can create power, electricity. So it's the same thing when we trade and exchange in any cryptocurrency. Then it creates energy and power and magnetism to that ecosystem. And then the more that happens, the more the ecosystem is able to land and grow and actually grow roots in the soil, fuel our fingers, fuel our bodies, fuel our tables, and bless our children for the future. So that's exciting. And art is such a big deal in the crypto world. It's fascinating how the human mind has born this currency thing, this decentralized currency idea where you can create these magical coins and they're actually worth something, and then people play, and it's like a game, and in child play everything is valuable. And then the mind of the human has brought about artwork as being a meeting place and a fantastic expression of creativity that is so unlimited. It really is the decentralized crypto world. The metaverse at the moment is really like the inner child of the mind of human playing, where he, she has been kind of like put in the corner for most of society and put into little schools, and for most of the cultural world that we live in at the moment, they don't get to play with valuable things, the child. But in this decentralized metaverse, then the child is having a ball, and drawing scribbles even, and minting them as or fantastic artworks, or making a video, or recording themselves rapping, and and then minting it and selling it and earning. So the inner child is coming equal with the inner mother and father, if you like, and in terms of value creation, and the inner child is creating the whole metaverse. This is what I'm seeing now for the first time. So it's wonderful. Isn't that great? That's coming inside with equality right there. It's wonderful. So yeah, Haku, I thought it would be quite nice if you speak a little bit about NFTs, because you are our master coder as well, and I know that you love to play with NFT style code, and also utilize it for other things, and the dreaming that you've got around NFTs, not only for gallery purposes, because of course with the gallery, then for example our top 3 art pieces will kind of be elevated in the gallery, and we can make a collection of sacramental medicine art that is from this contest, and then each artist will also have their own collections, and we'd like to make it really nice and easy for artists to mint their NFTs so that they can grow their collections. And yeah, so but for you, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about NFTs as a kind of medicine. What is this sacramental medicine of the NFT in terms of creating and growing and nurturing the metaverse, and the potentials that ecosystems like what we are busy dreaming into the reality here have got to offer?
Sure. So yeah, Mary Monster likes to put me on the spot. So yeah, the whole concept of non-fungible tokens is really interesting. In that for a long time we've had digital money where it's fungible, which means that one coin is always equal to one coin. If I pay you a 10 Rand note, you don't say, I don't want that 10 Rand note, I want another one. You don't really care. The 1 10 Rand note is equal to 1 10 Rand note is equal to 1 10 Rand note. Same with 1 Bitcoin is equal to 1 Bitcoin is equal to 1 Bitcoin. It doesn't matter which Bitcoin you're getting. Whereas with non-fungible tokens, like an artwork is a really great example in that, yes, you can have prints of an artwork, but the original artwork, there's only ever one of them, so it's non-fungible. And this painting is not the same as that painting, but they might have the same value. I might want to trade this painting for that painting, so it opens up a whole new way of then doing value exchange, almost like bringing barter into the digital space. So yeah, I think the first way that we've done NFTs is around art. Primarily, I think because if I send you a photo of something, by email, WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever, we can duplicate it trillions of times. It costs very little to duplicate an image. Control C, Control V, and like suddenly you got 2. Whereas what crypto has done is it's enabled us to say, actually, there's only one of these images, and this person owns it. And of course, you can do the same thing with music. You can do the same thing with anything really that is non-fungible. So we've started with digital art for some reason. I'm not too sure why that ended up being the thing. But I guess it was easy for people to create that and to represent it. It's a little bit more tricky to represent even music, because I've got to play it, whereas I can see the art quite quickly. And so that seems to be the first thing that we're doing now with NFTs, is allowing people to, well, not allowing, no one's allowing anyone, we're all allowed. people are able to create artwork and then transfer that artwork to somebody else, and that's what the NFT is doing. Is it's recording the transfer of ownership of that artwork to somebody else. But we can do the same thing with vouchers. So I could create a voucher for okay, let's call it massage. Is the first thing that comes to mind. And I can create 10 of these vouchers. People can buy those vouchers from me. I'm not getting funds. I haven't even done any massage yet. I've just created the vouchers, and yet now 10 people have got these 10 vouchers that at some point can be redeemed for a massage. They can then trade those massage vouchers if they choose. And so suddenly I've also created a currency based on the fact that I'm able to do something. It might be I cook really good meals, and so I'm selling meal tickets. I'm selling, here's a voucher for getting, a really, really nice plate of food, and that then is not traded. And I don't maybe have any money, but I can say, okay, well, I will make you a plate of food. Here's a voucher. Now people don't necessarily need to claim that from me, but they can trade the voucher, and off we go, and the voucher's traded. And at some point, someone might come and say, okay, I want that plate of food, and trade the voucher back to me. So there's all sorts of things that we can now start doing with this in terms of events, in terms of services, etc. Because we have this digital mechanism to create this non-fungible trade. So that's what's coming up for me right now. I mean, we could probably talk for a long time, but we don't have a long time. So I'm gonna bow out of the conversation.
Thank you. That's great, and it's brought up another interesting thought or two for me. So first of all, it said to me, this is where we are. The child. I'm coming back to the child. Is showing us that we are unique, because there's one. It's a unique thing. It's allowing and it's giving permission and really creating space for uniqueness, isn't it? So, hey Haku, there's only one. There's one. Its own, and then it gets passed around, and it can't be changed, and it can't be cut in half and shared, and pieces of it can't be sold off. It remains what it is. It just grows in value, or so that's wonderful.
Just to add one thing, the forest that Sai spoke about, the locked Elyseos that we create, we've actually created that as an NFT as well. So your locked Elyseos is actually a unique thing that you cannot trade with somebody else. So yeah, that's this whole thing of passing things around, and you could even create an NFT that holds other NFTs, and like you could even have an NFT which is representing a gallery of NFTs that now become, encapsulating all of that value that can now be sold as well, or moved around, traded, etc. So yeah, it really allows for a lot of interesting creativity.
It's really fantastic. And so then the other thought that opened up when you were talking about the massage and the plate of food is I thought, okay, so I mint an NFT and some tokens. It was printed out because I want to offer, sound baths. And so then somebody buys it from me. So I receive some currency in return. Then there's really nothing. Maybe it gets passed around some more. It might grow in value. You never know what happens with it. You let go of it and it's gone. And then you never know. Somebody might end up with it on the other side of the planet and want to cash it in. And I'm far away, but there's a person who does really amazing sound baths around the corner. And, that person might just actually be really willing to get that token in exchange for a sound bath. And then, so is there a way that that could happen, and then that person would be able to give the sound bath and receive that value of the token and put it into their MetaMask kind of thing, like, can we do things like that, Aku, where we let go of things in that way and pass them on, and then they're able to, like, somebody in India can get that wonderful meal from you, and then they can go to someone down the road. And
Exactly.
yeah.
So I mean, like, we used to do this like hundreds of years ago, where I would come to a market with my rice or my chickens or whatever it was that I wanted to trade, or let's say my grain. And then I'd go, I didn't want to carry my grain the whole day around. It was heavy. And so I'd go to the grain storehouse, I'd drop off my grain, and they'd give me a receipt saying, I've now deposited X amount of grain. And those receipts then got traded. And at some point, someone was able to then go back and fetch the grain that they now had the receipts for. But what has happened over time is that then has been owned and controlled by the really wealthy, or by the governments, or by the central authorities, where they say, okay, we are the ones that now manage the receipts. We are the ones, or maybe you've got a license to be a bank. The reason they do that is because how do you ensure that receipt is legit? With cryptocurrency, it enables us to codify these things without needing these central authorities to manage the flow of value being transferred. So yes, what you're saying is true. We can really start experimenting and playing with this kind of thing, and allow a kind of form of trade and barter based on the fact that I am able to generate value in whatever way that is valuable to somebody. And that then can now be almost traded. The fact that I can generate value. And so, yeah, barter then becomes, and trade becomes a lot easier because of the receipts we create.
There's no need to do currency conversion. There's no need to have questions about worth even. You've got a question, Mark. What would you like to ask?
Thokoza, thank you, Google. So I suppose I'd just like to add on that. So it also perhaps adds to the ability to create smaller transactions, like smaller pieces of value for people that, because, and I suppose I'll speak for myself. I know that I find myself a lot of the time being busy helping people, but also not necessarily receiving value for that help. So now this also enables me to perhaps do a phone call or an email for a person and receive value for that micro transaction rather than being employed or a consultant and charging per hour. And that's just how I'm thinking of it. So it also then allows us to receive reciprocation for all of our effort in a more balanced way, which leads to harmony and abundance for all, because then you don't have, I suppose, the current system, the way it's set up, you don't have all the power sitting in a few hands where the balance is out. And that's why there's perceived lack, because the balance is not there. But that's just how my brain is thinking about what you guys are talking about. Thank you.
I like what you're saying.
Yeah, that does make sense. It's really great. Yeah, it's super, very exciting. This is such a wonderful call. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to do my bit now and tell you all about Aloha Bokaye. It means aloha, be happy. In brief, it actually means a lot more than that. It's a whole philosophy. And Bokaye, we are together. Be happy, we are together. So Aloha Bokaye is going to be launching ASAP very soon. I'm finalizing the support team probably by the end of Tuesday. And it's a channel. We're making a channel for video and sound, broadcasting, for podcast interviews, for online ceremony times, for if somebody wants to offer some yoga once a week on through the channel, for DJ sets, for dance, for all of these things. I think it will probably be able to, we'll use it for the market days as well, whilst in Discord. So we're going to be operating outside of the what's it called? The decentralized reality, because we're using platforms like, I haven't decided, we haven't checked out exactly which are the best yet. That's happening when the team arrives after Tuesday. But probably Spotify and Discord and YouTube and, the more kind of mainstream channels. And in order to call out and invite and educate and inspire and really create gathering space with sound, with art, really. Art and information, the light information that is relevant to sacred sacrament and to decentralization and all of these different forms of governance, in fact, that are being explored now, and the movement of currency, which is aligned with the abundance of the universe, as we were talking about earlier. So I'm very excited about this, and I'm saying watch this space, because you will hear we've got a very loud voice when we shout. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. I'm intending to build it up to maybe even a 7 days a week or 6 days a week channel. And so really inviting members of the DAO, if you have got stuff that you'd like to share, if you've got a podcast you'd like to have a platform for, or if you'd like to be interviewed, or, if you've got things happening in your community that need to be talked about and need to be shared because they're awesome, then get in touch with me, Mary Monster, at elyseos.com, and we'll find a space for it. As I say, by the end of this month, we're going to be live. I'm pretty certain of that, because doing something like this isn't, it's not it's not creating new code thing. It's all of the platforms already exist. It's just a matter of weaving it together. And we are going to be using the Elyse button, and we're going to put donate and Elyse there, and also a Patreon button, so that people can give tips to those who are presenting, or to those stories, or the DJ, or whoever's playing. So that's very exciting. Yeah, so let us all continue to create. Thank you for typing faster than me, Maestro Bigness. I can't multitask very well. Yeah, so is there anything else? Have you got something that you'd like to bring, Renee? I know that you've been exploring that the metaverse pinged you in February, you told me a few days ago, and you've been exploring it and quite excited by it. And it's really great that you've joined the DAO. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of you being here. Have you got anything that you'd like to add or share in this circle that we're in here now?
No, not really. I'm just happy to be here and listen to all you guys. And, I'm watching the universe unfold, because, and then this is what I'm hearing from you guys too. There's like this trusting of process. Yeah, and process as it unfolds in each moment. And in each moment, then we notice things and take actions on that. And then more process unfolds. It's like, like I work with loads of the Indigenous mob here in Australia, and just been to a funeral up there, traditional funeral, where they sing the song lines. And it's so amazing to notice how each part of the community, each group of people, each, element of the family are connected to a particular part of a songline in a particular part of a country, and how it sings itself through a particular part of the land. And, I liken this to these things that you're speaking about, because, how everything interconnects. You can't see it all from just coming in from an outside point of view. You can't see it all, but there's this process, this intelligent organizing principle that holds it together, and with this deep trust in allowance of that to be. It's like a way of being where you walk with soul rather than with culture. Well, with you walk more leaning to the inside than to the outside. So you listen and you trust and you unfold with the unfolding. And I see this happening, and it's really exciting. And for me, it reminds me, it just makes me think of how, you know, my limited experience with cryptocurrency works. You know, it's like level upon level upon level. So in one, I'm not surprised I'm sitting here. Two, I have no idea where it's going. And three, it's really super exciting to just be a part of it. And I know that, like, it's going to sing itself just like the song lines do, you know, and it'll also show itself. There'll be a sub song line that connects everything together, like a world song line, you know. And so, yeah, I'm in. Life.
No, that's wonderful storytelling that weaves in with the whole metaverse and decentralized. It's the true, no? Wonderful, thank you. Mark, have you got anything more you'd like to bring, or anyone else here? We've got 8 minutes before we said we'd close. Maestro Big Nose, have you got anything more you'd like to say? Or Haku?
No, I think nothing else from me. It's wonderful. You know, I just so every time I'm here, you know, when we, you know, I know we're recording this and we're making it available for those people, those members of the DAO who couldn't be here. But even though I feel like a relatively small audience and people, I always feel this kind of, every time we do these things, I feel a much bigger audience of maybe non-corporeal, whoever else is watching. I just always feel them. So I greet them and give gratitude for their presence here.
Sehr wohl. Yeah,
Of
thank you
course.
so much. Okay. So we've got some. Carry on.
Yes, Tokozo. Say, I just wanted to add on to both what Mr. Big Nose said and Jesse, I think just before him. And for me, watching the metaverse and how this is unfolding is also it's more of an affirmation every day. As I watch with wonder, I see how things unfold in a way that enables me to live my life to my highest purpose. And perhaps I'm just and what I mean is, yesterday I agreed on going into a partnership with a lady, and part of that partnership is going to include doing podcasts. And part of that conversation was about where we're going to host the podcast and how we'll share that information. And the podcast is specifically about conscious business and what does it mean to be conscious in business, and mixing and marrying our personal lives with our professional lives so that we just have lives and not fragmented lives where we have to show up in different ways in different places. And that was just a very cool sort of affirmation for me of how the universes work. As I said, well, here you go, here's the platform, it's what you're already involved in. So yeah, thank you. That's me, Tokoza.
Good vibes. Wonderful. What a nice note to finish on. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. And once again, thank you so much to the universe and all of the kingdom and queendoms of nature manifest that we see, and all that we don't see, and all that we don't think is part of nature that actually really is. We can't ignore or deny it anymore. And for the togetherness that we are experiencing here, and that's growing inside us as we create and co-create and listen to the pathways that are opening, the song lines that are singing and manifesting into, wow, this wonderful, wonderful adventure. So give thanks. Alleluia.
Hallelujah. Hey.
Yeah, and we do this roundabout once a month. I will also put this on Aloha Bukaye as soon as it's live, and it's going to go up on the YouTube channel, along with some of the stuff from the market day, which I haven't managed to get up there yet, but it is edited and ready to go. So it is.
Hey.
So it is. Amen.
Mary for emceeing. MCMM in the house.
Good vibes. Okie dokie.
Bye,
We will
everybody.
see you next time. Remember, this is a DAO, so if you've got ideas or if you've got contributions that you'd like to make to the DAO, to Elyseos, please just drop them in the Telegram group or in Discord, and we will reply to you. We will call you in if need be, and or as it flows. And yeah, Elyse is plentiful, so there's always rewarding. We are together. There's nothing. Everything is valuable. So bring it forward. Okay.
Okay. Farewell, everybody.